good afternoon. My name is Miss Courtney. I am one of our branch librarians at our Gaines and Kentwood branches. You may have realized that I am not in a branch today. Coming at you live from my personal office at my home today. And what a perfect day to be home and drinking some tea and listening to our program. So this is our last Ask the Expert in the KDL Curiosity Lab until 2021. So we will be doing some more. We are switching the time, and we're going to be doing it on Fridays in the afternoon, and hoping that some of our school-aged friends can join us at school, virtually, of course. But before I get into who I will be talking to today, and I have a very lovely interviewee today, I just want to remind you that KDL is hosting lots and lots of virtual programs, everything from book talks to story times to baby times. Some of our branches are even doing take-home crafts, so you can stop by your branch to see if they have any crafts for kids and teens. But we are doing some book talks. So let me show you a slide that tells you a little more about what book talks we are having this year or this season. So tune in for those book talks. Even if you're not a teen, I personally like to read teen books, so I'm always interested to know what some of my colleagues at other branches are reading that are really good. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my last interviewee of 2020. So this is Sarah Marley, and Miss Marley is from the small island of St. Croix in the United States Virgin Islands, and she began ballet at the age of 6. During her professional career of 17 years, she has danced with many U.S. ballet companies and graced stages all around the globe. She is so happy to now be a part of the Grand Rapids Ballet Company, and she's going to join us to tell us a little more about what her career as a ballet dancer is. So, hello, Sarah. How are you? Oh no, did we freeze? Oh, there we go. You're unmuted now. We're good.
Wonderful. Hi, thank you for having me. So happy to be here.
Yay. So Sarah, do you prefer to be called a ballet dancer, a ballerina? What's your preferred title?
Yes, I think for the majority of professional ballet dancers, that is how we like to be addressed. I know and maybe overseas in Europe, it's like the highest honor to be a prima ballerina, to be a ballerina. So here it's very, very politically correct, whether you're male or female, to address us as a professional ballet dancer.
Awesome. That's good to know. So Sarah, and to everyone that's watching, if you have a question, put them in the comments. So if you have it, you can leave it on our YouTube page or our Facebook page, wherever you're watching, and I'll be sure to ask Sarah before our time is up. But we're going to start out with, so you've been dancing for 17 years. Can you tell us a little bit more in depth about your journey? So how did you get started doing dance? Did you start off with ballet? Just tell us a little more about that.
Yes, absolutely. So I've been dancing professionally for 17 years. I've been dancing a total of 27 years. I did start at the age of 6, and I did start ballet at the age of 6. The way that it happened was my mom took me to a regular doctor's checkup, and I had slight scoliosis. Nothing major, but it was slight. And the doctor recommended to put me in something like ballet or gymnastics, where I'm always practicing proper posture. And that way my scoliosis would improve as opposed to, getting worse. So that was the purpose. It was just for health. And then I just stuck with it. I absolutely loved it. On the way, I also had my best friend sign up for ballet classes at the same time. She was 5, I was 6. And then her sister and her sister's best friend signed up all at the same time. So it was just, a whole wonderful group activity for us. And then I just stuck with it.
Cool. Awesome. Um, so we have a question from our East Grand Rapids librarians that kind of ties into this. So it's, what have been some of your most memorable experiences in ballet? Like, so what was your favorite performance? And they're also curious what your dream role would be.
Yeah, I think when you're when you're a dancer like myself, I'm such a mature dancer that I've danced so many wonderful ballets, and I've gotten to work with so many amazing choreographers and talented artists. Some of which have been I've worked very closely with as an artistic director or two. When it comes to roles that I really absolutely love, there are so many, but in my mind, I really love this ballet. It's by Twyla Tharp, and it's called In the Upper Room. And within that ballet, it's a contemporary ballet to the music of Philip Glass. So it's like amazing choreography put together with my favorite composer, and it's just makes magic. And I got to do years ago the role of a lead stomper is actually what they were called. And yeah, well, we wore tennis shoes. So it was the first time. Before that, I absolutely adored classical ballet with all my heart. Did not want to ever take off my point shoes. Mm-hmm. So I think that's why it was so memorable for me to be given the gift of this role and not even understand what a gift it was, and got thrown into the process, and it was amazing. It was life-changing. So that's like their favorite role, and also a very memorable moment for me. I also have danced on the Finnish National Opera House stage because I partnered someone who danced with the Helsinki IBC competition over there. So I just remember that stage being gigantic. I had never danced on a stage that big before. I'm also a very large mover, so it was like like I was a kid in a candy store, and I could just push myself to new greater heights. So lots of memorable moments, but those two for me.
Wow, that's cool. So I'm very curious about dancing in tennis shoes. So how did that work exactly?
Well, well, when you have contemporary dance, the thing that's fun about it is it's sort of the opposite of ballet, where there are no rules. In ballet, there's nothing but rules.
Right.
so so contemporary dance, you can be in flat shoes, soft shoes. You can be in point shoes. You could be in tennis shoes. So we were actually wearing Puma sneakers, so we were also cool while we were doing it. And it was very grounded movement, but then also very powerful, lots of jumps. So we were equipped with the tennis shoes to do it.
That's fair. I imagine that it would be really hard to do like a pirouette or anything like that in tennis shoes. Okay.
Yes, there weren't multiple multiple pirouettes. Maybe we had one here or there. But yeah, there wasn't multiple movements, revolutions, more lots of down in the earth pivots and things like
Okay.
that. Very sharp movements. Yeah.
Very cool. So speaking of dance moves, I am always in awe whenever I see anyone of any type of dance because it's amazing. What are some of the harder dance moves ballet moves that you do regularly? Like what would you say is the hardest move, the one that took you the longest to perfect?
Yeah. For me, this is going to be a personal answer because there are so many steps in ballet. This answer is going to be different depending on the dancer you speak to. So for me, when I was growing up, frappe means to strike in English. So it's an exercise you do at the bar. So you have one hand on the bar, and your foot is striking the floor. You're flexing and pointing your foot, and as you go from flexing to pointing, you're striking the floor. I don't know why, but I detested frappes. I just didn't like them. Also, petite allegro, petite, small, allegro jump. So growing up, that it wasn't something, it was like I did not like to do small jumps at all. And this is consistent with most dancers. Whatever steps you didn't like to do or whatever steps were most challenging for you when you were growing up become the steps you are known for. I wouldn't say that's true about frappes, although I do like them now.
That's good.
Petite allegro, it's just something I worked on for so long and really focused on. So now it's like it's a lot of fun and I'm really good at it. So I get a lot of compliments for my petite allegro also.
Very good. That's something that you don't hear librarians ever say, that I get a lot of compliments on my petite allegro. Usually it's our shelving or our book displays or how fast we can type, among other things. We do other things for those of you watching. So I have a couple of questions, and then we have 2 questions that I think will be really good to end with in the comments over there. But if you have any other questions, again, feel free to leave them. We welcome questions. But I am wondering if I've asked everyone, if there is a book character out there that has a career or passion that's similar to yours. So what book character do you think of when you think of ballet dancer? Luckily for you, there are quite a few book characters that do dance. So what one comes to mind for you?
Well, I think most people that know this story, it's as a film, but it was like most films. It was originally a book, and it's called Mao's Last Dancer, and it's a memoir, but it's about a dancer that goes from almost like rags to riches. And it's about his journey of how he was destined to labor in the fields of China, and he became, a world famous dancer. So it's sort of like that journey. It's not the same as far as rags to riches, but for me, I relate to it where I was born on a small island and there are no professional ballet companies on St. Croix. So it was sort of like the struggle of, well, how is this going to happen? If you want this to be your career, you can't stay here forever. So we did end up moving to the States, which it was by the recommendation of my teachers, where they said, well, we taught her all we can teach her. She needs to be stateside, where she has access to summer programs and lots of different schools and techniques. And so that's what we did, and I'm still doing it today. So That's
Very cool.
that's
So
fun.
very nice. That ties into my other question is so to the kiddos or maybe not kiddos that are watching that might be interested in pursuing a career in dance, what are some tips that you have for them? And is there such a thing as too old? I guess I would say for like people under the age of 18, because I don't think that I could personally change careers at 30 and start dancing. That's probably a no. But for someone who might be, who isn't 6, who's maybe, 13 and wants to possibly pursue dancing, is there you're too old for that? And what are some things that you would recommend they get involved in?
Right, absolutely. Well, to put the lifespan of a dancer in perspective, I am 33 years old, and I would say I have, if I'm lucky, I have another 4 years. If something happens, if I end up having a major injury at this point, most likely it would be very difficult for my body, as old as it is, to come back and dance professionally.
Mhm.
Not saying that I can't continue dancing, but to do it with a ballet company at the high caliber that you're employed for, that probably wouldn't happen. So that's just to put it in perspective.
Mhm.
Dancers generally do not stay professional dancers into their 80s. So it's half that. It's about 3 or less.
Mhm.
Um, on the other hand, I would say for young dancers, I started when I was 6 years old, but I know professional dancers who are in the best companies in the United States and outside of the United States that started when they were 16 years old, 18 years old. It really depends on your work ethic
Mhm.
and your passion for what you're going to do. So I absolutely would never discourage anyone at any age um, to dance. And you work hard at it and you will see the fruits of your labor. You stretch and you will become flexible, but you have to be committed to your craft. And so I think that level of dedication and determination is the most important, even more than natural ability. I myself wasn't born with a natural ability to dance. It's something I worked for. I worked very hard to achieve the level of dancing that I have achieved. So it's for anyone, it's for everyone. And I know here at the Grand Rapids Ballet, we have wonderful programs to train.
Mhm.
Um, all the way from 3 and 4 years old to adult beginner ballet classes. One of our dancers in the company, I believe, teaches those classes, and he's a wonderful teacher. Um, so I would say go on our website and look at all of the different classes that you could take and see what you're interested in. And there's something out there for you if you love it.
Mhm. Do you personally teach any classes right now?
I teach. I love teaching. I'm not teaching at the school right now here, but I've taught. I was a teacher's aide with creative movement. It's the 3 and 4 year olds when I was 14 with the Orlando Ballet. So I've been learning about my craft and then also observing and helping teaching from a very young age and began teaching began teaching my own classes with the Orlando Ballet when I was 17 years old. So,
Wow.
yeah, I've been teaching all the way through ballet and point and contemporary and variations classes, conditioning classes. It's all what you need in order to be strong and succeed. So, yeah, I love teaching too.
Very cool. So as the Grand Rapids Ballet Company, are they doing, and this person just asked, are you doing online classes or other people, ballet teachers in the company, are they doing online classes right now or in-person classes?
I would absolutely need to check with the school director, but
Okay.
from what I know from being here, there are a limited number of students allowed in each class. We have our quarantine. I think it's like 6 foot by 6 foot boxes
Hmm.
taped out on the dance floor to maintain social distancing. We dance all day with our masks on, and I'm in the building right now. That's why I'm mandated to wear the mask. But so I know that we have in-person classes here, and then also I believe that there are students taking class at home, so there are Zoom links available. But again, I would check on the website for the adult ballet classes to see if maybe we are still bringing those live and direct to you.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And our last question, unless anyone else has any more, um, is can you tell us about the Nutcracker this year? So we know that the Grand Rapids Ballet Company does the Nutcracker, I think, every winter. So how is the Nutcracker looking different? And I think a little birdie told me that you have some props, some tiaras that you could show us as well. So let's talk about the Nutcracker first, and then you can share the lovely tiaras that you have with you.
Yes, we're so excited. We're so excited to be able to bring the Nutcracker to the public in some form or fashion. These are unprecedented times, and I would have to say this is a very unique Nutcracker experience, and that's exactly what we're calling our program this year. Where it's not the entirety of the Nutcracker, but we're calling it the Nutcracker Experience.
Nice.
And we are filming different sections, key moments of the ballet, and we're filming them in pods. So dancers of 5 are dancing together in one studio, and there's about 5 rotating pods. So you will have the Sugar Plum Fairy and Cavalier dancing. You will have the Dewdrop Fairy. That's one of the roles that I'll be doing. And the Waltz of the Flowers. So the Dewdrop Fairy, the Dewdrop has this headpiece. It's very beautiful,
Mhm.
and my hair will be different, and it goes right on the side like that. There's also the Merlotons from the Nutcracker, and that's this tiara. Ooh, ooh, yeah, little mini tiara. All of the second act advertisements will be there, so Spanish, and also the snowflakes. That's this tiara. Um, we filmed the snow scene. So, what was it? 2 days ago, we filmed for, I want to say it was about 2.5 hours, different sections. And we were having the snow falling the entire time.
Oh,
So by
wow.
the end, it was a snowstorm. Okay, it
Yes.
was it was 75 degrees outside in Michigan, but snowing inside on our stage. So that's going to be filmed. We're going to put it together. We have a lot of magic happening where you have different pods of dancers in a corps de ballet dancing separately, but with the magic of cinematography, we're going to splice this together and it will look like we're dancing on the same stage. So it's really interesting, very different, and I would encourage everyone to check it out because it's the first time it's being done.
Yeah, that is so unique. It's so nice to hear from everyone what everyone is being able to do to meet these unprecedented times and still provide those connections and that entertainment. So that's really cool. Will information about that be on the GR Ballet website? Okay, awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Awesome. So if you guys are interested in learning more about when that will be available, you can check out the website, which is in the Facebook comments from our lovely East Grand Rapids librarians. Um, but yeah, I don't see any other questions. So thank you so much, Sarah, for taking the time to share your journey and some advice and teach us more about what it's like to be a professional ballet dancer. Um, make sure I get that right. But yeah, love Grand Rapids Ballet. I know at East they had, and I did when I was at the Cascade Library, we had some professional ballet dancers or ballet students. I think it was ballet students come in and dance for us. So we're sad that we will miss that this year, but hopefully 2021, we will have some safe way to bring the library and the ballet company together in, off the internet. I think we will all be tired of the internet by 2021.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the meantime, check out the Nutcracker experience.
Yes, exactly. Please. So everyone that is watching, I hope that you have a wonderful day. Get your cup of tea and go to the library and get a book to read. And I will see you guys either in another program or in 2021. Goodbye.